Okay, so Brian, so if we take these data practices, what is from your view some of the core technologies that are essential in order to be able to provide this seamless experience?
I mean, so there's a couple technologies I look at, right? Before I jump into those, I would caution that as you're deploying these technologies, it's not just about the technology, and you can't throw technology at bad process. So ensuring that you've kind of built what that ecosystem looks like from the ground up is going to be really key to being successful. Ultimately, when we look at what you would kick things off with, Kareem, around building resilience into these citizen services, is the idea of merging content and process and those two technologies. I think when you look at the experience that a citizen is having, it's not just a beautifully designed user experience on the front end. It's really driven by that engine on the backside, building process. You showed the unified platform. I think what you're showing there really is truly is the idea that the resilience is woven into the fabric as you go. And the processes are built and driven around the intelligence and the information that's provided. So I think having that engine, if you're looking at technology, having that process engine at the hub is going to be paramount. And then the ability to take in and work in a hybrid world. We're in a situation now where every government is at a different phase of their evolution. So you can't ensure that every ingestion point is going to be 100% digital. So how do I capture, intelligently capture some of this documentation as a government is evolving? I think that's going to be critical too, because you need to fold it into this content repository to ensure you can pull the information out of it. So you're supporting that evolution as well. And then on the other side, what that compliant repository looks like. It's security by design. I think in this day and age, and you touched on some of the statistics around phishing and the type of cybersecurity breaches that we've seen globally, it's only increasing exponentially. So ensuring the security of your citizens' data, your employees' data, I think is ultimately going to be a very large part of this. And the last thing I'll say, and Mohammad, you made a very good description of what the art of the possible could be when you look at digital identity. I know we've seen a couple countries that are rolling this out really well so far. Identity access management, I think, is important. You look at government shifting to a more zero trust environment, but all of that has to be contextualized. So how can you allow citizens access to their services in a situation where you're also locking down systems to prevent security intrusions? I think all of that is what we're going to be looking at, and then how all of it is woven together in a collaborative way.
Yeah, so yeah, that's perfect, Brian. So if I can summarize this, we're talking about content, process, the ability to analyze data and secure data, and obviously put an information governance model that ties everything together, right?
Absolutely. And I like how, Mohammad, I like how you touched on the proactiveness of what governments are shifting to, because that is absolutely a big thing that most, if not all, governments are really looking at. How can I stop being such a reactive entity and move into a more proactive entity on behalf of my citizens? And Kareem, like you said, tying process and content together is at the core of that.
Yeah.
100%. And Brian, if I may add on to that, if you allow me, Kareem, the thing which I think for me is becoming quite important is this by design. Yeah. So whether it is inclusion by design, security by design, or experience by design, it has to be by design. That's the key message. And that means that you need to shift your thinking process from what I call technology first led approach to a design first led approach, whether it's experience led, or it's security or it's inclusion, because let's not forget, digital on its own is not going to solve some of the problems that we have. And if digital was the silver bullet, we wouldn't have the digital exclusion that is taking place, the digital divide that is taking place. And let's also be mindful that in most cases, when we are talking about technology advancement in service delivery for governments, the population which is disadvantaged, any case in any country, will be more disadvantaged. The people will be able to use more of this are the ones who are digitally literate, have access, and obviously have the know-how of how to navigate and use these services. So that's something we should always, that's why inclusion by design becomes very important. We do realize that it is a great technology, but it's digital first, not only.